Hi everyone and welcome to Sustainable Channel. COP28 is over. Ideally, it should have been a place of connection, discussion and collective action. In fact, it became a ground of arguing, lobbying and disagreement. Loud commitments given at the conference very often stay only words. For example, at the COP26 in Glasgow, countries agreed to phase out inefficient fossil fuel subsidies. Since then, however, global fossil fuel subsidies have risen from $2 trillion to $7 trillion. Success. However, let's start from the beginning. The summit started on November 30, but suspicious signals appeared earlier. It took place in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, the country where 52% of export is oil. Do you think such a host may help facilitate the green energy transition? Rather a rhetorical question. The UAE loves window dressing, and they did it again. 5 days before COP, they deployed the largest solar farm on Earth, containing 4 million panels and able to power 200,000 households. Impressive, but it's still too little, even for supplying the UAE itself, as fossil fuels have a lion's share in the country's energy mix so far. Hopefully, it will decline to some extent because of this solar facility. Nonetheless, they should have significantly more. The personality of the chairman is another illustration of the conference. It was a very big hint. Sultan Al Jaber was appointed to this position, none other than the head of Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. Ironically, the conference was full of climate change denial and misinformation agents. The transparency watchdog Corporate Accountability revealed at least 160 of them. Looks like they worked hard, and this work was reflected in the summit's final documents. Along with them, the event attracted around 2,500 lobbyists of oil and gas, the record number, and 4 times more than any other COP. It's worth mentioning that oil and gas dependent countries, firstly OPEC, and companies of the sector are very reluctant in the green transition. They are rather stubborn in their resistance to the changes. That's why we have seen so many agents of the business as usual. They literally rose up against the green agenda, as it means losing income and influence. Particularly, this is seen from the letters sent by OPEC countries. In this regard, a very important task of the next COPs is to convince oil countries of the need for transformation. Otherwise, they will remain on the sidelines of history. Meat and dairy companies and lobby groups, GBS, Global Dairy Platform and the North American Meat Institute planned to get pro-meat messaging heard across the summit, presenting meat as sustainable nutrition, including pushing the FAO to host positive livestock content at the conference. Pure greenwashing. Meanwhile, the summit brought some positive achievements and intentions. It raised some significant funds for developing countries on energy transition and reducing technological gaps. Among them, for example, the UAE $30 billion investment fund to global climate solutions, $10 billion to tackle climate change in Africa and Middle East, $4.5 billion for 7 climate projects in Kenya, $250 billion tropical forest fund is proposed by Brazil, a very essential initiative, I should say. The US presented a plan to reduce methane emissions in the oil and gas sector by 80%. Considering the USA is the world's largest producer of both oil and natural gas, it's better than keeping these industries dirty. Anyway, the green transition is preferable, obviously. And it would be nice to include agriculture in the methane reduction plan too. In total, more than 10 declarations were signed during the conference regarding climate, agriculture, energy and health. However, the most influential countries didn't take part. For example, the pledge for sustainable cooling wasn't signed by India, China and Saudi Arabia. Gender-just transition didn't include most of Muslim countries. Global renewables and energy efficiency avoided by China, India, Russia, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia. Declaration on sustainable agriculture didn't include key livestock keepers, India and Brazil. At all, India is a country that ignored every single declaration on this COP. The ignorance of key players devalues these documents a lot. even though they are just endorsements, not obligations. The end of the summit became a slight sign of hope. 2 weeks of negotiations and torments concluded with final declaration. All this time it was a questionary whether phase out of fossil fuels be mentioned or not. It wasn't. Instead, the participant countries proclaimed to begin transitioning away from fossil fuels. What a small and obvious statement. But it took 28 years for the entire world to say them shyly. Goals to triple renewable and double energy efficiency are also noticeable. Is it a step further? Perhaps, but time is ticking, not waiting. The world may pass 1.5 degrees warming already this decade. Tectonic shifts, not careful steps, are needed. Upcoming COPs should essentially accelerate this movement. By the way, 2 days after the summit, Sultan Al Jaber said that his company will continue investing in oil. Seems like the mask of decency is taken off. This does not add optimism. The next summit will be in Azerbaijan, another autocratic petrostate with a questionable reputation. 2024 is going to be a year of political changes all around the world, with elections in the USA, India, Pakistan, maybe the UK, and many other big nations. New governments may strengthen and expand the tiny achievements of this year, or simply wash them away. We don't know what changes will happen, but to determine them is in our power. Thank you for watching this video till the end. I appreciate it. Good luck everyone, and be sustainable.